Husband and I were fighting on Christmas Eve and he says he wants a divorce. My 24F husband, 25 meters, told me he wants a divorce. I'm going to try to keep this as short of a version as I can. We've been married for a year and 2 months. So not long. When we used to fight, he would reassure me and apologize if it was his fault. And our arguments would only last about a day or so. The past few months, I feel like he's changed. While fighting, he yells at me and just seems overall like he's trying to put me down if we're not seeing eye to eye. He just took a job in a different city 4 hours away, so we've been in the midst of moving and dealing with all of that. I personally didn't think this was worth it. He's not making much more money and it's costing us to move there when we're already financially strapped, but he said it was good experience and what he really wanted to do. So, in 3 weeks we uprooted our life here and we came back to our old apartment on Christmas Eve to get some of the remaining things that we couldn't fit and also see our families for the holidays. With everything going on, I forgot to pay the electric bill for the old apartment, so when we got there, no electricity. I paid it and told him I was sorry I forgot and that power would come back in a little bit, but we could stay at my parents' house if we wanted. This started a fight where he yelled at me, brought up several other things we've previously fought about, then told me to leave him alone, and when I followed to ask if he was still coming to my family's Christmas, he freaked out and banged his fists on the counter and screamed, "Leave me TF alone." Then proceeded to take his ring off, throw it in the sink and tell me that we're done and he wants a divorce. I was shocked. Even though we've been fighting more the past few months, I didn't see it coming. I don't think this is grounds for divorce. I'm not sure if he actually means it, or if he just said it in the heat of the moment, or if he was on some kind of power trip just saying it to upset me. What do I do? We're supposedly talking about things Wednesday, but if he says he didn't mean it, I'll always remember he said that and be scared that he'll say it again. Should we try to work it out if he's willing? I was in a toxic relationship before this one, age 16-20, and I told myself I would never beg for a guy again. Please tell me what to do. I need some unbiased advice. After a fight with my girlfriend, now wife, years ago, she said that she hated me. She meant that she hated what I did or said. I don't even remember. But I told her that I take these things seriously and that if this is how she feels, okay, I'll leave. But if she doesn't meant it, so don't say it. Because I'll leave next time she says it. And I mean it. I don't know if your husband just said it in the heat of the moment, but I suggest you tell him the same. If he wants to end it, do it with cool heads and discussing things like adult P. If he wants to be mean, better not repeat it or else you will go through the divorce. And you have to mean it. To get unbiased advice, you have to give unbiased information. You admit that you're fighting but only talk about what he is saying. You mentioned how you feel about the move. Are you saying those things to him during the fight? You admit he told you to leave him alone. Not sure someone who's on the offense would say Thar. Then you admit you didn't leave him alone. This post is designed to give you the feedback you want. If I were you, I'd take every comment, even mine, with a huge grain of salt, since you have an entire relationship's worth of baggage you're leaving out. But my advice would be to go into the talk with this. Give yourselves 6 months. For the next 6 months you two aren't trying to make it work. You're not trying to keep things above water. And you're not trying to walk on eggshells. Purposefully plan dates. Purposefully over-communicate. Get a safe word or phrase for being stressed or frustrated. Leave each other alone when you are in heightened emotional states. Talk every night. Reconnect. Physically and emotionally. Stop putting off your feelings or your thoughts. If something bothers you, calmly state it and why. If he did something you like, tell him. If he gets you in the mood, act on it. Set the date and have that hard conversation 6 months from now. Either something is very wrong and he needs your help, or you're leaving out a lot of crucial information that paints you in a bad light. People don't snap like this over nothing. If my husband threatened divorce in this manner, I would let him divorce me. I have more respect for myself than to let him act like that. I have a feeling there's way more to this story. Get a lawyer and get a divorce. It takes two to tango. And he doesn't want to dance with you. Regardless of who's right and who's wrong, or who wants to stay married. If both people don't want to be married, the marriage doesn't work. And quite frankly, once the words, "I want a divorce," come out, it doesn't just go back to normal. He wants a divorce. Prepare for a divorce and get a lawyer. I honestly think this new job is supposed to be part of his exit strategy. I don't think he takes your vows as seriously as he should. You're not gonna fight your way through this, and I would get your own exit strategy. I'm not sure if he actually means it, or if he just said it in the heat of the moment, or if he was on some kind of power trip just saying it to upset me. Threatening the safety of your marriage is grounds for divorce. That's emotionally abusive behavior. Should we try to work it out if he's willing? No. I was in a toxic relationship before this one. Age 16-20. And I told myself I would never beg for a guy again. You need to stick to your guns. Do not allow someone to treat you like this without consequence. You're getting some mixed views here, and I think that's because you are leaving out some key details. You say you were in a toxic relationship for 4 years, and I suspect there was a minimal gap between this one and your previous one, and you also married pretty young. You say he's bringing up past arguments? Were they ever resolved? What were they about? He told you to leave him alone and then proceeded to follow him to keep asking questions about going to your parents. Why would he want to do that when he said to leave him alone? You forgot to pay the bills. Is that a one-off, or does it happen more often? I don't think this is grounds for divorce. If he wants to leave, then it's grounds for divorce. I don't see in your post any real reflection about him and how he feels. You are both young and I suspect not particularly mature. A separation might not be such a bad thing, and I do believe that when he calms down he will say he's sorry for getting so angry, but he meant what he said. I'm thinking that after only a year of marriage he was looking for an excuse to leave you. I'm basing this on moving to a new city, even if it doesn't make sense. And the fact he is choosing to fight with you more often. To throw off his ring and demand a divorce. He's choosing the turned-off electricity as his last straw excuse to leave you. Or he could be such an immature, not ready for marriage baby man. And who wants that in a husband? Please treat yourself with love and respect. Think long and hard if this husband's treatment of you is what you really want. I will divert from the norm here and ask if he has gone to therapy or done anything for his own health in the last year. Financial constraints cause a lot of stress. Men feel like they need to be the breadwinner, and when that is taken away from them, they spiral. Society says men have to do things one way, and when they can't, it can eat at their self-worth. He could use therapy. Moving 4 hours away for a job under a family member sounds like he had to make a lot of internal concessions. Unfortunately, you have been dragged along. Enjoy your Christmas. Talk to him tomorrow. Get a divorce. Don't get one. Either way, let him know a divorce will not fix his issues like he thinks it will. Also, you get therapy too. Everyone needs therapy. Therapy is great. Well, without knowing why he's getting mad, it's hard to know if this guy is toxic. Feel like there's a lot of information left out of this one. He could be toxic. You could be clumsy with bills. We don't know. If you can't talk it out, seek a lawyer. Is there someone else he moved for, not just the job? Is he creating these problems because he wants to be with someone else? After my ex left me and married another man, I realized that our relationship was a toxic one. That was the third man she cheated on me with, and of course I would get upset and yell. After an intense amount of therapy without her, just therapy by myself, I have realized the wrong way that I would get into arguments with my ex. If you listen to the way you argue, how most people argue, you always lead in with you. Example: you didn't pay the bill. You didn't do stuff right. You made me mad. Instead of using the word you in an argument, which is viewed as an attack, calmly, if he will, calmly talk to him and have him use use sentences like, I feel you aren't listening to me. I feel scared when you yell at me. I feel I let you down by not paying the electric bill. You take the attack away from the argument. It can only work if you both use this method. I wish you the best of luck. And I hope that if he is not cheating, that you guys can get back to a meaningful relationship. If not, I'm sorry that it's dissolved. Good luck. Sounds like your husband has a lot of resentment towards you. What do I do? What have you done though? This entire post reads like your husband is supposed to baby you. It sounds like your husband has to be responsible for himself and you. If that's the case, what do you bring to the relationship? You said he would apologize when it was his fault, but did you ever apologize when it was your fault? He sounds like he has had enough of all these fights. You have only been married a year and all you do is fight. You best get a divorce now and save yourselves all this grief. This post reads very biased and shows me that the problem seems to be you. When we used to fight, he would reassure me and apologize if it was his fault. So he's a good guy. I hope you did the same. The past few months, I feel like he's changed. While fighting, he yells at me and just seems overall like he's trying to put me down if we're not seeing eye to eye. He just took a job in a different city 4 hours away, so we've been in the midst of moving in. Dealing with all of that. I personally didn't think this was worth it. He's not making much more money and it's costing us to move there when we're already financially strapped, but he said it was good experience and what he really wanted to do. Okay, so your husband gets a job he really wants and is the experience he needs, and instead of supporting him like a good partner, your reaction is, he's not making much more money. I'm not surprised you guys are fighting more. He has a wife that doesn't support him or cares about his career. Brought up several other things we've previously fought about, then told me to leave him alone, and when I followed to ask if he was still coming to my family's Christmas, he freaked out. So you made the mistake of not paying the power, did you? Apologize and reassure him, and when he told you to leave him alone and you decided you will follow him and keep questioning him, that shows you don't care about his emotions. I was in a toxic relationship before this one, age 16-20, and I told myself I would never beg for a guy again. And here you are again. But you are the toxic one here. You don't care about your husband's emotions or support him. Your declaration to never beg for a guy again has made you combative now instead of never begging for a guy. You don't seem to care about your own husband. Please tell me what to do. I need some unbiased advice. You need to be the one to apologize and reassure him here. You need to tell him you haven't been thinking about him and supporting him. That you need to make that change. Tell him that you don't want to fight so much and you want to communicate better with him so in the future you can be a supportive partner. Then hope to hell you didn't push this man too far, and that he will give his wife another chance. He seems stressed and it's making the arguments worse. See a marriage therapist to help learn to communicate better together. This marriage is doomed if you can't communicate effectively. Info. How long were you together before getting married?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.